Good morning. Hope you're having a great week. It's Monday, April 14th, 9:30 a.m. 9:30 and 45 seconds. Pacific Daylight Time, local time here in Redding, California. I am at the delivery location. I have a 9:30 a.m. appointment. I've been here since 8:15. So I got here at 8:15 and I went to the back of the building and checked in, and they told me that the docks are broken at the back of the building, and they said they're unloading everyone from the front. So then I had to drive around to the front of the building, and I got to the front of the building at about 8:30. I went over and checked in with the shipping and receiving person, who is not the most pleasant of people. The only thing he said to me was that he just said, almost verbatim, there are 4 trucks in front of you. That's basically all he said to me. He didn't say, we'll come and let you know when we're ready for you, or give me your phone number, I'll call you. Nothing like that. All he said was, there are 4 trucks in front of you. That's it. So I was like, okay. And I just walked back out to my truck. Yeah. So, interesting. So, I asked one of the other drivers if they had an appointment time, and they said that they were told 9 a.m. first come, first serve. If I would have known that this place was first come, first serve, I would have been here early. I would have been here. I got here an hour early for my appointment. Well, an hour and 15 minutes early for my appointment. And like, that's standard for me. Is if I have an appointment time, I try to get there about an hour early for the appointment, unless it's one of these places that they don't want you showing up more than 30 minutes early for the appointment. I mean, the plans change based off what information I have available. If I know that they'll take me early, then I'll get there real early. Like, I want to be unloaded as early as possible. But as soon as I was told that there were 4 trucks in front of me, I took some pictures and sent an email to the agent, told her what was going on. I asked her what the situation was on detention pay, and she said that they pay detention. Just keep her updated. So how long is it going to take me to get unloaded? Well, they were unloading a truck whenever I arrived, and I'm not sure if they finished unloading that truck or if they partially unloaded it and they're going to finish it later, because that guy is parked right here. This is the guy that was being unloaded whenever I got here, and after he got unloaded, he just pulled forward and parked. So I don't know if he's like camping out here or what the deal is. But they finished him at about 9 a.m. And then whenever he pulled away, they had 2 trucks pull up, and they started unloading 2 trucks at a time. 2 trucks at once. And since their dock is broken, they're using a pallet jack to unload. So they got somebody in the trailer with a pallet jack taking things to the rear of the trailer, and then they have somebody with a forklift taking it off the back. And that process usually takes longer than normal. They're also having to drive their forklifts all the way out into the parking lot to get the stuff, which increases their distance dramatically. So I'm not sure how long it's taking them to unload trucks, but the standard amount of time that shippers and receivers are given to unload and load is 2 hours. Anything over 2 hours is considered excessive. and they typically get charged detention time for anything over 2 hours. So let's say it's taking them 2 hours to unload. There were 4 trucks in front of me. One of them finished by 9, so let's say 3 trucks. That's 6 hours. And then they have to unload me, so that's another 2 hours. So I could be here 8 hours. But, I mean, that varies by a lot of things. They're most likely going to take a 30-minute to an hour lunch at some point. They're going to be taking breaks. I don't know how much stuff is in each of these trailers. I don't know how long it's going to take them to unload each one. So it's a complete guess as to how long I'm going to be here today. So that's what's going on with me, and I'm still undecided on what I'm going to do after I get unloaded. I can either stay in Redding and wait on a load or go somewhere. I can go to the Tracy, California area, Reno, Nevada, Portland, Oregon. Sitting in Redding is probably the worst. The thing is that the majority of loads posted on the load board pick up same day that they're posted. And usually it's within a few hours of being posted. So if I'm sitting in Redding, California, 250 miles from any decent freight market, then basically what that means is that almost all of the loads being posted, I can't make the pickup appointments. So the best thing for me to do is to just pick the market where I think I'm going to be able to get my next load and just go there. I was hoping that I would just be able to book a load before I got unloaded and I wouldn't have to guess at where to go, but I've only gotten 3 load alerts today, and they all happened within a few minutes of each other this morning. I got a load alert coming out of Tracy, California. I think it was going to Laredo, Texas. Really cheap load. I have my threshold set at $2.50 a mile. I don't want to see loads under $2.50 a mile. I really don't want to be hauling loads at $2.50 a mile because I only get about 70% of the load. So a load that pays $2.50 a mile is only paying me $1.75 a mile. That's really, really cheap. You can do really well in this industry running at $2 a mile gross to the truck or higher. Anything under that and you could start struggling. But $2 an hour, or $2 a mile gross to the truck, that's like the beginning of good pay in the industry. And then how profitable you are, just it depends on your expenses and everything about your business. Like how many loads are you doing, how many miles, what are your expenses, like everything factors in. But in general, right around the $2 mark is the good stuff. That's where it starts at. But yeah, this load was paying like $2.51 a mile, right at my minimum threshold, going from Tracy to I think Laredo. So not interested in that. And then the other 2 loads, I think they were both coming out of Reno, Nevada, and they were also cheap loads. Right at my minimum threshold. Reno, Nevada would normally not be a place that I would be interested in going. All right, one of the trucks is pulling out. They unloaded that person in 40 minutes. Let me see if they're going to be able to get out of here. I might need to pull forward. I pointed at my truck to ask him if he wanted me to pull forward so he could swing, and he said that I was good. He's not going out that roadway, he's cutting through the parking lot. That's the reason he didn't need to swing around that curb. So, yeah, I need to. It looks like I might not be here all day. They're unloading pretty quick. So, yeah, I still have a decision on where to go after I get unloaded, but getting unloaded is going to factor in to like what I do. I might just end up having to go back to the TA and staying another night here if it takes all day to unload, because I was expecting that I would be out of here by 10 a.m. That way I could arrive in Portland. It's about an 8-hour drive to Portland, 7 to 8 hour drive, which means I could be in Portland somewhere around like 5 p.m. and I would be able to find a parking spot at either the Flying J or TA south of Portland at that time. But if they take a long time for me to get out of here, then I could be rolling into Portland late in the evening, and I don't want to be trying to find a parking spot at midnight in the Portland area. So if that's the case, I'll probably just end up staying here until at least like midnight, and then I'll drive into Portland leaving at midnight, roll up into Portland at like 7, 8 a.m. So yeah, it's up in the air right now as to what I'm going to do, what's going on. I'm just glad no other trucks have shown up. It looks like this might be all of their deliveries for the day. They just told everybody to be here at 9 a.m. Because if somebody shows up behind me, then I have to worry about them cutting in front of me in line. Like this black Freightliner that's backed up there right now, getting unloaded. He cut in line in front of this truck I'm standing next to. I'm pretty sure it was a miscommunication with the person that's handling the shipping and receiving here. But the guy in the black Freightliner did not try to correct that miscommunication. He just took advantage of it. He happened to be standing back there whenever the truck finished unloading at 9 a.m. and they were telling the next person in line to back up, and they said, you go ahead and back up too. And they wanted to have 2 trucks backed up at once. I think they assumed that he was the person that was next in line because he was standing back there, and he didn't tell them that he wasn't next in line. He just backed up there. So yeah, I don't know what in the hell is going on, but I'm not having to worry about anybody cutting in front of me because I'm last in line. But right now, if I had to guess, I would say that I'm going to get out of here about noon. Am I going to drive to Portland if I get out of here at noon? I'll have to do a sleeper split because of the 14-hour clock, because I started my 14-hour clock at like 7:30 this morning. But you know what? I might even be able to make it within the 14-hour clock. It'll be close. But do I want to roll up to Portland and arrive at like 8 p.m.? That won't actually be too bad. If I was trying to get a spot in like in town in Portland at 8 p.m., no way. Everything fills up at like 5 p.m. But south of Portland at the Flying J TA, just south of Portland in like Wilsonville, the Flying J will be full at 5. It has a small parking lot. But the TA across the street, you can usually find a spot in there all the way up to like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. Sometimes that parking lot doesn't even fill up in the middle, all night long. Because that TA has a massive parking lot. And a lot of people do not like parking away from the truck stop. And a lot of their parking spots are way away from the truck stop. They have a section of parking lot that goes like way out there. I really like that TA. I prefer parking at the TA, but all of my rewards are at Flying J, so I park at the Flying J so that I don't have to constantly drive back and forth in between the two truck stops for showers. Also, there are better amenities at the Flying J because there's a whole bunch of roach coaches that are permanently parked right there next to the Flying J. All their prices are pretty crazy, except the taco place. They have a taco special that's $10. That's like, I don't know how many. I think it's like those tiny little Mexican tacos and beans and rice. I think that's kind of a crazy price for beans and rice. $10 for beans, rice, and a tortilla shell. That's a little absurd, but almost everything else on the menu is like $15 to $25. So it's the only thing that is reasonable, and it's still overpriced. But I think they actually jacked the price up on that because I was paying $10 for it. And I think the last time I bought it, they'd increased the price to like $12. So who knows what it is now. It might be $15 or $20 for a spoonful of beans and a spoonful of rice and 2 tortilla shells. Like, that's pretty crazy. All right, we got somebody else pulling out. You know what? I'm just going to pull forward. Just a second here. I'm going to start the truck. Let me pause this. He pulled out the same way the other truck did, but I went ahead and pulled forward anyway. Is he parking again? He might be looking at Google Maps trying to figure out how to get out of here. Oh. Yeah. Now he's taking off. Where in the world's he going? Alright, he's just swinging wide for that. For that road. That's the best way to get through here, is to cut across the parking lot. If you try to drive down this roadway, you have to go over curbs. And going over curbs, like, if the business is forcing me to do it, then I don't mind going over curbs. But You know, I'm not worried about the curb. I'm not worried about damage to the curbs when the business is forcing me to do it. What I'm worried about is damage to my trailer tires. So I don't like driving over curbs. It causes damage to the curbs. It causes damage to the equipment. All right, the guy is walking up there now. The guy who's supposed to be being unloaded right now, who got cut in line, has walked up there to see what in the hell's going on, because these people are absolutely horrendous at communication. But I'm getting thirsty. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video and pop open a soda and wait to see what's going on. It looks like on the roof there's people up there with brooms or mops or something on the roof. They might be tarring the roof. There's a whole bunch of stuff. There are tons and tons of contractors here. When I walked up to check in with the shipping and receiving person, somebody walked over to me and was like, "Hey, are you Steve?" I was like, "No." He said, "Are you the guy in charge here with Granger? Or with Grange?" And I said, "No, I'm a truck driver here for a delivery." He's like, "Oh, you look like the guy that's in charge of all this for Grange." I was like, "Okay." I'm walking around in shorts and a t-shirt. So apparently the guy with Grange that's running this whole show is an overweight bald guy in shorts and a t-shirt. My twin is around here somewhere. But yeah, let's get this wrapped up. I am gonna need to go into the shop. I found an issue with the truck and I found an issue with the trailer during my pre-trip this morning. I have a nail in one of my drive tires, and the one of the auto air lines on the trailer is leaking. I tightened it up with some channel locks, and anybody who's familiar with the auto air lines, they are hand tightened. You're not supposed to use a tool to tighten them because the little, I don't know what it's called, the little T air bracket thing that the airlines go into in the tire is made of plastic. You're not supposed to like get in there with tools and really tighten those connections down really tight. You could crack that plastic. But I got some channel locks out and tightened them up a little bit with the channel locks. You know, I'm not going to wrench on it really hard. You could break that plastic. But I tightened it down as much as I was comfortable with, and it did not stop the air leak. So I'm going to have to put the trailer in the shop and the truck in the shop. All right, that's good. One of the things I was concerned with is that they were going to ask me to use the pallet jack to move everything to the rear, and we were going to have a bit of a problem if they were going to ask me to do that, because I do not load and unload. So I am seeing their own guys. The guy standing back there in the tank top with the shorts looking in the back of the trailer, the bald guy, that's the truck driver. And then the guy in the red shirt and khakis with the headset on is another truck driver. The guy in the red shirt and khakis is the one that got cut in front of. The guy in the tank top's the one who cut in front of him. But it looks like they're moving with a sense of urgency. And who knows why that may be. I did contact the agent and let them know what was going on. What the hell is all that sound? Oh, that's the truck next to me. There was a whole bunch of like air hissing. I was like, oh crap, did something pop on my truck? What in the hell? The guy in the red shirt and khakis, the truck that he came in is driving around. There was a woman sitting in the passenger seat, so maybe his team driver is, I don't know what in the hell she's doing. She's just backing straight up to the curb. That's not where they're going to unload you. No, it's a guy. Oh, maybe that was a guy in the passenger seat. Or maybe there was more than 2 people in there. Yeah, it looks like that guy came out of the sleeper. He's not wearing a shirt. Here's my refrigerator. -3 degrees Fahrenheit. It's set at -4 degrees Fahrenheit. That's my freezer. And then I have another one here in the floorboard in between the seats that's set up as a refrigerator. I've got it programmed at, I think, 36 degrees Fahrenheit. I had to look up online what the temperature was for a refrigerator. I think I set it lower than that. I set it at like 34 when I first set it up, but things were freezing because it allows the temperature to fluctuate within like a 4-degree range. So whenever I was setting it at 34, it was basically cooling it down to 30, 32, and then it was letting it go all the way up to 36. It was bouncing between like 32 and 36, and it was causing like milk to freeze. All right, they've got everybody backed up except me. I'm the only one. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn my lights and my 4-ways off. I think I might have the guy that got cut in front of, whenever I pulled forward to let that guy get out of his way so that he could leave, the guy that got cut in front of jumped out of his truck and walked up there. I think he was afraid that I was going to cut in front of him too. But I think I'll wrap this up, drink a soda. The guy that's running the shipping and receiving is the guy that has all the paperwork in his hand over by the van in the red and black polo and jeans. Whenever I checked in with him, he signed my paperwork, so I'm already signed and good to go. And it looks like I'm going to be the last one, and it looks like they might maybe get to me before lunchtime, because it's 10:01 a.m. right now, and it's taking them, the last truck. I've only been here for one truck that's been unloaded. They finished a truck while I was here, but I don't know how long it was here. It was already being unloaded when I got here, and it finished at 9 a.m. I got here at 8:30 and it finished at 9 a.m. and it was here when I got here, and then they pulled another truck in at 9 a.m. and that truck left at 9:40. So the only truck I've seen unloaded left at 9:40, and this black Freightliner, he backed up to get unloaded at the same time as the other truck at 9 a.m. So he's been getting unloaded since 9 a.m. But I'm not sure, like, if they've actively been unloading him or if they waited until they got the other truck done at 9:40 to start unloading him. So I don't know. But it looks like it might be taking them somewhere in the ballpark of like 40 minutes to unload trailers. So if I get out of here at noon, I'm probably going to go ahead and deadhead to Portland. And I'll just park at the TA tonight, and then tomorrow I'll relocate over to the Flying J. I have not gotten a load alert since if I get a load alert, you'll hear it. I haven't gotten one since, the 3 I got early this morning that all happened almost at the same time. So that's what's going on with me, and maybe I'll make a driving video when I'm driving up to Portland, or maybe I'll book a load picking up out of Reno, Nevada, and I'll be going to Reno instead of Portland. Who knows what's going to go on, but we'll figure it out in the next video. Hope you're having a great week. Bye.